DCF contacted me because there were reports filed from outside sources that I had never met before. There was one individual that had contacted other so-called mandated reporters, coaches, etc., and told them hearsay stories regarding what was going on in my household. None of that was founded. There was also allegations of physical abuse that were unsupported, eventually unsupported, and after that fact, in these reports, it was still saying it was supported, and Mr. Seaver clearly and quickly said he wanted that removed immediately because it was found unsupported, and they never removed it from the paperwork until Mr. Seaver put his foot down and requested that they remove it. The way I felt dealing with DCF was very uncertainty. It's extremely scary that it's the only department that can remove your children without any legal reason or any finding. It can just happen, and that's quite scary. I also, going through the entire situation from start to finish, have zero faith in the department. They did not serve me in any aspect, went 100% by allegations, and it was only when I hired Attorney Seaver that they decided to take me seriously. When DCF first contacted me, I had no idea what it was regarding. There was no incident that would have led me to believe that there was any question of my parenting or my household. It was all hearsay, come to find. When being involved with DCF, it was an extremely stressful, intimidating department to be involved with. I had lots of nightmares of them coming to take my children away. They could show up at any time, go through my cabinets. I felt my constitutional rights were violated in many aspects, as well as my children's constitutional rights. I was afraid for them and for me regarding the power that DCF has over families. But the power was quickly shifted as soon as I hired Attorney Seaver. Upon being initially involved with DCF, I went home and looked on the web and found the first DCF attorney that I found, I met with and hired. It was clear right from the beginning that I was not being properly represented. I was never told that I had the right to a fair hearing. This attorney never met with my children after I requested repeatedly, and the attorney basically held my hand when I signed every single document that DCF presented in front of me without question. Basically told me I had no choice but to cooperate with DCF in every single aspect, not knowing what paperwork I had signed. I just followed the first attorney's advice. It was quick that I realized I was not being represented in the way that I felt I deserved to be represented. So after investigating several different attorneys, I found Attorney Seaver, and he was the clear choice. The first meeting with him was easy and very straight to the point. There's no bells and whistles. It's Mr. Seaver, you get what you get. It's all factual, fact-based, and just straightforward. Kevin Seaver is very straightforward and to the point. There's no haggling. It's either yay or nay. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. I had 100% confidence that he would take care of my situation because he cared. It was very clear that he cared about my well-being, about my children, always advised me, kept in contact with me to keep on track, keep doing the right thing, very much supported me in every single aspect of the investigation and gave me the best advice is to do my best and hold my head up high. I visited Attorney Seaver's website, and when I looked at the videos and how strong and how passionate he was about protecting parents that have been accused wrongly or being in the system and being put through awful situations, he has a passion and a care for protecting families. Attorney Seaver went above and beyond for me and my family during the entire investigation. He always went the extra mile, called on occasion just to check in, see how we were doing, met with my children many times, made extra trips to come out to my home and discuss with us the case on his own time, and was always by my side at every single DCF meeting, which was extremely important to me. He would not allow DCF to interview me or to speak to me without going through him first. He was my number one supporter. I felt 100% confident that he would not allow me to be treated in a way that I should not have been treated in. I would absolutely refer Attorney Seaver to anyone who is unfortunate enough to be involved in the Department of Children and Families. I actually have, during the process, told other families about Mr. Seaver and the success that I had in my case with not being bullied, not being pushed around, not being treated as everyone else. I feel like they put everyone in the same box. It's like sheep, and they kind of just put the same label on everyone. And that, as soon as I hired Attorney Seaver, that was absolutely not the case. I was not just another sheep in the system. I stood out because I had Attorney Seaver by my side. Anyone out there that finds himself in this situation of being involved with Department of Children and Families, please know that you have rights. You have a right to a fair hearing. And I know that because I went on Attorney Seaver's website, and that was one of the first things that jumped out at me is he said, you have a right to a fair hearing. I did not know that until I discovered Mr. Seaver. Also, be careful with what you say and hire an attorney. Mr. Seaver is the best. I am a clear testament of that. And I wish you well with moving forward. It is very scary doing it on your own. And with Attorney Seaver by your side, it was a lot more bearable. There were also instances where Attorney Seaver spoke for me. He told me, I have your back, let me speak for you. In actuality, there was a meeting where in the regional office, Attorney Seaver and myself were in a meeting with the DCF social worker, and she was not able to answer the questions that Mr. Seaver was asking. Very simple questions so far as timeline, what was expected, and the social worker said, let her answer the questions. You don't speak for her. Mr. Seaver immediately said, absolutely, I do speak for her. This is my client and I am here to represent her. I absolutely speak for her. And it made me feel so comforted, so protected, and so safe in an environment that was uncomfortable and really not safe so far as what could be twisted around or changed and interpreted in a wrong way. Mr. Seaver threw that out the window and totally had my back and my children's throughout every single meeting and every single conversation with Department of Children and Families. Also, he had told Mr. Seaver completely intervened between my involvement in DCF. DCF came directly after me, did not allow me to have an attorney present at the first meeting. Once I gained representation from Attorney Seaver, that completely changed. DCF had to go through Mr. Seaver before getting to me, so far as questions, documents, information that was to be provided. If DCF was to call me, Mr. Seaver said, have them call me first. They were not to contact me in any capacity. They were to contact Mr. Seaver first, always. He was my supporter and protector. If you're watching this video and you are thinking about attaining Mr. Seaver for services if you're involved with DCF, don't think, just do it. Right from the beginning, when I hired Attorney Seaver, I had no knowledge of what situation I was involved with. I didn't understand what a family action plan was. I didn't understand my rights. I never knew that I had the right to a fair hearing. And initially, I lost a lot of my rights because I was told in my initial meeting that if I had left the building, they would take my children away. I believed that. And I feel that I was bullied into providing information that I probably shouldn't have had to provide. Phone numbers and names, lots of personal information that were completely irrelevant to my situation, which was all based on hearsay. Having Mr. Seaver really educated me so far as I had the right to a fair hearing, what DCF can do, what they will do, and what he will not allow them to do. I would like to say, if you are watching this video right now, I am so sorry. I am sorry you are put through this situation, and the only thing I can say is the best thing you can do for yourself is to hire Attorney Kevin Seaver. It was a lifesaver for me, for my children. It changed the tide, empowered me, and gave me a sense of self-esteem. And Mr. Seaver holds himself with utmost professionalism, but he will take care of you as aggressively as DCF is coming after you. There was no incident that involved my family with DCF. There was no significant issue or event that led me to be involved with the department. It was one day I received a phone call from a DCF investigator asking me to come to the office because reports had been filed. She said I needed to do this immediately, and I complied. Upon arriving in the office, I was met very hostilely and was told of some of the reports that were filed. I then learned that they had went to my children's schools and interviewed them individually without me being present, without them having an attorney present. And at that point, I requested that we reschedule the meeting so that I could further educate myself and obtain an attorney. I was told point blank, if I left the building and did not cooperate, and did not answer all of their questions, they would remove my children that afternoon. It was very scary, so I cooperated and answered their questions. I looked at lots of other attorneys, and the one who stuck out the most as to be on spot, what I needed, someone to represent me and stand up for me, was the law offices of Kevin Seaver. I was very fortunate to find his office at the beginning of the involvement. The unfortunate part is I didn't find him first. Had I had Attorney Seaver from my first phone call, things would have been a lot different. During the investigation, there were several issues that just were not right, did not make sense. They have a time frame in order to provide the family action plan, and they went well beyond this time frame in order to provide this to me and Attorney Seaver. After repeatedly requesting this document, it was not provided in over a 60-day period. Meanwhile, I was doing everything on my end that was requested of me, and I was stuck in the middle because they were not following through with what they needed to provide so that I could move forward in getting out of this situation. There was an incident when they did eventually provide the family action plan and wanted me to sign it. Reading through it, there was a different person's name in the document. Thankfully, I had Mr. Seaver by my side. They told me, go ahead and sign the document, we'll change it later. Mr. Seaver had no part of that. I didn't even have to speak. Mr. Seaver spoke for me, which I was very grateful for, and I did not sign the document. A red flag went up for me there, because if someone else's name was in my report and they were going to change it later, two things. If I was going to sign it and they were going to change the name, were there other things that possibly they would change after I signed the document? Second, most importantly, this person's name was in the DCF family action plan that was designed for my family and my children. Who's to say my name wasn't put in someone else's family action plan and my privacy rights were completely violated, if that was the case? It definitely was the case with a woman's name that was put into my file. There was one other occasion that I had met with, I had to go to the DCF office, and I ran into another parent who I had known through a group that DCF had me involved with. The parent was waiting for an appointment. I showed up with my attorney, Mr. Seaver, and they took me and Mr. Seaver's appointment first, and As we were leaving, I wished the other parent luck as she was in the office seeking help from DCF in order to rectify a situation that she was having a hard time with. A few days later, I ran into that same person and asked, "How did you do with DCF? Did they help you? Did you get everything you needed? Did you get what you wanted accomplished?" And I was told the entire meeting revolved around what she knew about me. Was she going to hire Mr. Seaver? And very inquisitive questions regarding how we knew each other, and basically it was more interrogating her about me and my attorney. I have to say, sitting in the office with Mr. Seaver by my side gave me such confidence, 100% acknowledgement that I was being very well taken care of. I felt that he definitely had my back in every single aspect. In addition, Mr. Seaver made several trips out to my home, met with my children, explained to them what the situation was, and was a supportive figure in our lives. I cannot say enough about the impact that he's had for me and my family, getting my case closed quickly and without the stress that I would have went through had I not had Mr. Seaver by my side. If I have one word of advice, it would be, if you ever are unfortunate enough to be involved with the Department of Children and Families, please call Kevin Seaver first. He's your first call. I wish that was the first one I made, but I quickly rectified the situation, and when I realized I wasn't being properly represented by the first attorney, I hired Mr. Seaver, and things 100% changed in my favor after that. It was the best thing that I have ever done for me and my children.